One. Hi. You're watching and listening to Sipping on the Cup on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is
Jay Silverman in Tempe, Arizona.
Jay, and I have been working our way through the little details. Prolijo. This is a mezcal. And Jay, show him your bottle because I'm kind of jealous. I got bottle envy because Jay got the full bottles. To be fair, Jason got his first like New Year's Eve, 2020.
First moment of 2021 when I came in the house that night. There was a box waiting, so I figured that's a great sign. Good year, so makes me happier than a bottle of mezcal.
Yeah, no kidding. We have been beside ourselves with the quality of the Espadín expression. The Tobola was superb. I haven't had a Madrecuishe in a long time, and I'm looking forward to this because if it's anywhere close to the quality that we've had already, wow, man. This is a Madrecuishe. It is a Karwinski for those of you who are agave freaks and nuts and
scorecards at home.
Yeah, for those of you with the scorecards at home. And before we give you all the stats and stories, we are going to taste it first. Then we'll tell you all the ins and outs and where this is coming from and where you can find it. You know, we don't even have a price point on any of these, do we?
Not yet. I mean, to me, the market, the brand is still new to the market. I haven't seen it around, and I've seen some nice collections of mezcal, so I haven't seen it around too much. But, you know, Madrecuishes generally run anywhere from 80, 90 to on up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
If you can buy it for less than $100, you're doing well.
Sorry, I dropped my cap. I got a holy cow, the nose on this thing. That's the one thing that's impressed me the most on this line is the beauty of the nose that we're getting from each of these bottles. Oh,
wow.
Hello.
Interesting. Wow.
This was brighter. It is also at a 48 ABV like the Tobola was. These are high proof, all of them. The Espadín comes in at 45.
It's got such a different aroma. It's you know, Madrecuishes are always very unique and very earthy, and they're always a lot of fun. The first one, you know, I used to work at a place called Madre Mezcaleria in Brooklyn. In those days, I had an opportunity to try quite a few Madrecuishes because that was our favorite.
Now, see, this one, the legs and tears are a bit more runny. They're not as clingy as the Espadín was or the Tobola. And again, not a bad thing. Okay, the legs and tears are not the end all be all, but I like seeing them, especially when it comes to mezcal because you know the mezcal legs and tears shouldn't really react or behave like a tequila. Because of the processing, if it's processed as an artisanal product, then everything should look natural, and that includes legs and tears for me. So I want to make sure that it's not runny or streaky, that it's clinging to the glass.
It's got a little bit of a lightness to it. For me, you know, one thing you notice about this Prolijo mezcals right off the bat. They're very clean and pure, you know, cut. The way they make their mezcal, it's artisanal, but there's a certain level of refinement with the distillation. So I think you can expect to find like a very, you know, clean tasting Madrecuishe with all natural flavors, but you're gonna get you know, a light touch. It reminds me of like what I heard a few years back about El Holgorio and how they were more careful to roast the agaves, not necessarily too much, to kind of, you know, gently cook it as if you were like a French chef cooking a piece of beautiful sea bass or sole manière, for example. But like, you know, just using that delicate touch on the roast, so you're not just obliterating with smoke and heat. And that, I get that here too, where it's kind of like the refinement of it.
Yeah, each of these have been very refined, and again, we're seeing more and more agave spirits come through our gauntlet here. Alex and I had just tasted some Raicilla, which is really hard to find, and I was impressed because the guys who were making it look like moonshiners, but when you taste the stuff, it's so refined that it's so far from moonshine. It's actually they're really elegant sippers, and I think moonshine is just a bad term that we get. Of course, a lot of these agave spirits were being distilled during Prohibition, and even Mexico had its own version of Prohibition where you know they were hiding in the hills making this stuff because it's something that they have ancestrally done all for a long time. So, but the refinement is just lovely, and I love this nose. It's very fruity. Wow. Now, for those of you who don't know much about a Karwinski, I should probably come down and read some of this information. The Madrecuishe, this the Mezcalero is Oscar Ramirez Santiago. It's also from Etla, Oaxaca, and these plants tend to grow anywhere from 9 to 12 years. Um, but see, here's the thing. I got more of the quote unquote wood notes and hard fibrous notes on the espadin, and I'm not getting those on the older, larger plants Tobola is a bit smaller, but this Karwinski's they grow pretty long and pretty big, and this was just really bright again.
Yeah, I mean it's elegant. It's got a nice lightness to it. I think. Let's dive in and taste it because it's got signature Madrecuishe flavor. It's really very unique compared to other agaves and magueys. It's got that really defined earthiness. The Madrecuishes are fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
They tend to be drier, and they're tend to be on the drier and more savory side, I would say.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, let's dive in, shall we? Mm. Mm. Oh my. Wow, that's a full body, man.
Mm.
That is lovely. The espadin was great, great mouthfeel. The tobola was beefy, but this was like a combination of both. It's beefy and bright. Wow, man. It is. It's bright and beefy, man.
It's beefy and elegant, and it's so I like to learn more about the Etla community, but I was reading a little bit, and that they're known for their barbacoa, and imagine this with a nice round of barbacoa tacos would pair really nicely.
Oh.
Something like that, or some cochinita pibil from Puebla, or
yeah.
There's some great nuances in here. It's got this really nice, aromatic subtlety, and it, like I said, the refinement of the way they made this. They obviously took care to distill it as perfectly as they could.
This is I think the best of the three. I think it's the star of the show. Of course, I haven't. They make Prolijo makes a couple of aged expressions that we have not had. Hopefully, we'll be able to get those sooner than later. But wow, the mouth, great structure on the palate, and what I like for me is that the brightness comes on the intake, but then the plant the beefiness is like right at mid palate. And it doesn't have the spiciness that I got from the espadin and the tobola. there's minimal spiciness, and it's almost all plant.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: no smoke at a higher ABV. I'm not getting any alcohol, and I like the finish on this one. This one has a much longer finish.
It does. It does. You're right. It's good. A delicious finish. It's really refined, really well made. It's special. You know, it's hard to make a good Madrecuishe. There's some that are a little more rustico. This is really, you know, easy on the palate, but full flavor. Got that savory minerality, and just overall very well made. Kind of a cleaner product, you know, cleaner feel to it than some of the mezcals.
This has got a great full body.
Compare.
I will say that even though I ordinarily don't, but I tasted this and I thought this would make a great cigar pairing. Something not too robust, because this one's got a good flavor profile, but something maybe with a light Connecticut wrapper or something like that. So that it, you know, they complement each other as opposed to for me, Dominicans are a lot more bolder, but this one's got a good, robust, full body, and a mid palate, and then a great finish on top of that. It's just wow, man, wow. You're right. This is really special. This guy
really know what they're doing. They've been doing it. These families have been making mezcals for years and years and years. You know, I'm only now coming to the market as Prolijo, I think, in the last, you know, recently. But
yeah, just I think within the last year, maybe two. You know, I'd be surprised if they're even 2 years old. Let me give you the ins and outs really quickly. Just it is wild agave Madrecuishe, aged 9 to 12 years. It is underground stone pit, oven fueled with encino wood, milled with a traditional taona, and it really, if you've ever seen, if you look through Instagram, you'll see what Madrecuishe or Kowinski looks like without its pencas, without the leaves. They look like huge logs. They look like big fibrous wood logs. They don't have the traditional piña we're used to seeing, and so it figures that, you know, it takes a lot of turning with a taona to mash that sucker up, right?
Yeah, it's like a tree trunk almost. It's a long, you know, wooden.
Yeah. So it's like a pine tree without you know, but thicker, you know, a lot rounder, like Lincoln logs almost. If you see some of those pictures, fermented open air wood pine fats, and distilled twice in copper alembic. This is outstanding. I'm gonna right now, man. Brand of Promise nominee.
I need one of those things.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make some more of these coasters with our new logo on them, and I'm gonna send these to each of the guys with a truckload of ice cream sticks, and you guys can make your own because we have no budget. I love it. What now? Okay, a lot of folks who don't know your background, we have interviewed Jason on an open bar. He and I have known each other for years. Jason originally started as a sous chef, been written up in several articles how he started in New York. So when he talks about food pairing and cocktails, then he kind of gravitated to cocktails. So he's got this full palate. He can cook with it. He can make stuff with it. You were talking about food pairing it with barbacoa tacos. That's beautiful. That's just, you know, and for those of you who follow him, you should follow Jason Silverman or Silverlight, because you have your own little bottled cocktails that you're doing.
Yeah, Silverlight drinks. I think.
Yeah, Silverlight spirits or Silverlight drinks. Just look up Silverlight, you'll find it.
Drink.
But yeah, so what else would you food pair this? And this is unusual because
dessert, Mike. I'm thinking like
dessert.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a chocolate or even a custardy, you know, something like
that. Really?
Yeah, it's because it doesn't have as much sweetness. It would contrast perfectly with like a lemon meringue or like a nice fruit, like a custard. What do you call that? I mean, well, I guess creme brulee, but
like a flan.
Yeah, creme brulee, flan, or but even like a dark chocolate flan.
Wow.
It'd be nice.
Wow. And I do the cigar. I would. This would be delicious after dinner for sure. Okay. But yeah, even with the tacos, I love that taco idea. The last time I saw Jason, it's been a long time since we actually been together, but I think he's more Mexican than the rest of us. He knows where all the Mexican food stores are, and he's getting these agua frescas, and he's just really hands on. He really is an artist. So when he comes up with that, so if you see Silverlight and you're local, get yourself some of his cocktails, because if I remember, you're probably the only one besides Alex that I would let you make me cocktails, because I'm not a cocktail guy. Period. I'm just not.
Less is more. A nice old fashioned tequila, old fashioned mezcal, old fashioned. That's all you need. A little of this, little of that.
Well, hey, I thank you for. Let me just give the thank yous to everybody who made this happen. Oscar Ramirez Santiago, gracias, señor, don maestro, because every one of these was just beautiful.
It's a beautiful mezcal, yeah.
Yeah, the company that made this happen, and I will, Katie Reichelt, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Juan Pena, and the name of the company is Spirits Consulting. They are watch out for this mezcal, because it's gonna take you by storm. Okay, to quote a favorite slogan. This is, and the packaging is really nice. I wish I had the full bottles, but I have bottle envy, but but if you see these in the 200 mLs, these are now available. It's legal to actually import these into the United States. Don't be afraid. If you're not sure about the mezcal, get yourself one of these.
Not nitrate.
Yeah, these are, and again, when you see anything that's not espadín, when you see them bottled like this, it's okay, because I got to tell you, they're usually higher alcohol by volume, and they're much more. It's sustainable for the region as well. But the other thing is, it's much more satisfying. So you're not going to need a whole lot to get that satisfaction that maybe you're not getting with whatever you folks are drinking now. But love it. Brand of Promise nominee in this category. That's our take on hopefully we'll get the rest of the line sooner than later. But that's our take on Prolijo. My name is Mike Morales. I'm in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Jay Silverman, Tempe, Arizona.
You've been watching and listening, sipping off the cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Give us a like. And subscribe. Hit the red button, so that that way when we upload our videos at the beginning of the month from last month, you are notified right away. If you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, please subscribe. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.